morning from Plovdiv, Old Town here in Bulgaria. So we are actually going to be exploring the Old Town today. It's kind of funny because the Old Town in Plovdiv is not really like a normal Old Town. That noise is so annoying. Someone is jet washing this restaurant here because normally it would be open, but due to the season it's not open just yet. But anyway, the Old Town here in Plovdiv is full of loads of museums, and they're more like museum houses. There are a few restaurants that have a lot of history. You would have seen yesterday we went to one of the most famous here in the Old Town, and there's just cobbled streets and a couple of viewpoints. Plovdiv's Old Town is actually surrounded by 3 hills, one of which we did see in our other video, and it's been a UNESCO World Heritage Site since 2004, so it is old. I love an old town, but as I said, this is a very slightly different old town than what we're used to, but we're going to explore it anyway because we are located right at the entrance of the Old Town.
So literally a 1-minute walk from our hotel is the Church of the Holy Mother of God. The actual building, the church itself behind, dates back to around the 9th century, and they also have this impressive new looking clock tower from the 18th century. It doesn't come up as like one of the best things or top things to do in Plovdiv or even the Old Town. When you type it in, not much information comes up about this place, but it is a beautiful building with a lovely courtyard. It seems as if maybe you could do admission here before. I'm not sure if we're allowed in there. Maybe before you could pay to go up the clock tower, but obviously COVID struck. But it's a really nice structure. They've also got like a stage here, so maybe they do some shows. And yeah, we're literally a 1-minute walk from our hotel, and it is a really cool building, like for a good photo spot. There is actually the famous clock tower, which we haven't seen.
We still haven't been.
We're not going. It's on one of the other hills. We've done too many hikes already, but there is the famous clock tower, which dates back to the 16th century, I believe, which is actually one of the oldest clock towers in all of Europe. If you want to do that, there's another hike on one of the 7 hills. We've already hiked like 5 of them.
The only problem, I'm going to call it a problem with old towns, is actually there's 2 problems. One, walking uphill, and secondly the cobbles. I find it so hard because they're so uneven.
Uphill and on cobbles.
Uphill, I'm literally sweating. Uphill on cobbles is like my worst nightmare.
This is why we wanted to dedicate a whole video to the Old Town, because there is so much to see. We're walking along. This here, it looks abandoned now, but on the side it says it's the first gymnasium, ignore the graffiti, of Bulgaria. So it just shows you the amount of history you're going to find walking through here and then walking back through. You come through and there's another church right there. It really is like a maze walking around this old town, but it's so quiet today. I'm really surprised. It's been so busy this week in Plovdiv because it's been the Easter week and everyone's been off work. It's nice, it's peaceful. It sort of suits the old town. It's really quiet, and you'll find so many of these impressive 18th and 19th century houses. A bit like the one just up there, if you can see it. And basically a lot of them have been turned into like museums and galleries that you can go into. Not really my cup of tea to go in and check them out. I think they look nicer from the outside. I think we might do one, I'm not sure, it depends, but there's so many. But basically, I've got to look up my facts. This is the first time ever I've been caught out looking up a fact. So basically, during the 19th century, during the so-called Bulgarian national revival, many Bulgarians established trade connections with Central and Western Europe, meaning money was on a high, so they built these beautiful, impressive, like palace houses. Lots of traders bought them, lots of trade deals were done, and now they've been turned into these incredible museums.
This is almost like a fairy tale. It doesn't quite feel real now. People actually do live here, despite the museums, the closed museums.
That one's closed.
And the guest houses. There are actually houses amongst all of these that have kept the same sort of decor. Do you call it decor?
Definitely.
It is.
I'm so pleased we've done this because we literally went and saw the ancient theatre and the hill.
Yeah.
Which are like the 2 main sites to see, but we didn't like immerse ourselves in the back streets.
This is so cool. You walk around the old town and you've got all the old houses and the architecture, and then you stumble across Roman ruins, and this is the fortification, the walls, which they've got a house, if you can see, built into there. It dates back to around the 5th to the 6th century. It's just so cool. Plovdiv is full of so many ruins that I don't think they really know what to do with them. This is just on the side here, just chilling. There's houses in between. It's honestly so unique.
This is what I was saying about we didn't see the old town properly. This is, I think, Hizar Kapia, I'm probably butchering the name, which was the old ancient gate to the old ancient city, and it was actually built on the foundations of the old gate that the Romans had built. And then obviously in the 18th and 19th century, you can see the wall above. They've built all the incredible houses with the great architecture, but I think it is like the only
one of the only ones.
It's the only old gate that's still sort of standing to enter you into the old town. Even behind there is I don't know, has the old town extended? The gate, but we're already in the old town.
The old town is massive.
I'm now really confused. I'm walking under the gate, so now am I in the old town, or was this like what the ancient old town? And then if I walk this way, I don't know. I'm really confused. The old town's extended, I think. I think that old town has definitely extended over the years. So we have walked into another little back street and we've found the cutest, isn't it? The best
so cute
little cafe. And of course we've stopped for 2 beers, Nastravi.
Cheers.
It's actually self-service, run by like a little old man. While he's run in there, got our 2 beers, served them herself, got them herself.
I did it well, I think.
Poured them herself, but this is lovely, a lovely little hidden spot in the old town, away from everyone. There's a couple of like locals in it, it's really nice. It was actually so nice. I don't know if you can have a chilled out beer. Can you have a chilled out beer?
Yes.
It was a chilled out beer. It was really nice. We ended up being like the only ones left in there down a side street. Now we're just walking back through the old town. Like obviously, like I said, if you are going to explore the old town, the main 2 things that you're going to see is the ancient theatre and the hill, which we've already done in a previous video if you want to check that out. We've also got the ethnographic museum, which is back up there, as well as another clock tower. The other clock tower is really cool, with a church, but museums, I don't know. I think I would, you know us. If you know us already, if you don't, I think I'd rather have a beer than go to a museum. It depends, it sort of depends on the museums. We loved the, it wasn't really a museum, but we loved seeing the ancient basilica, which was a bit like a museum, but because of the Roman history, it was nice for us. I'm not a museum man, but when it comes to the Roman ruins, I like it.
Apart from the museums,
we are visiting them.
Yeah, we are actually going to be tourists today and get magnets. So if you haven't ever watched our videos before, we get a magnet in every country that we are in, and we're pretty fussy when it comes to magnets as well. Like, we don't want it to say the area that we're in, and
you want
obviously
the country name, right?
You want the country name, and you want some things.
And there's everywhere. There's one there. There's 2 over there.
That was actually so cool. We got the best magnet. It has everything. So as I mentioned before, we tend to go for things that are about the country, not the place that we're in. A lot of magnets along here seem to only have things about Plovdiv, and we actually wanted one on the whole of Bulgaria. There is actually a good story with our magnets, so not only do we collect them at home, but we also get some for you guys. Now we have an exclusive community on our Patreon. I will link it below. On our Patreon, we wanted to use it to give back and not just a way for people, if they wanted to support us, to support us. So what we do is we give back to you guys. We try and help you with your holidays. We try and help you with as many travel tips as possible, and we also will buy you magnets or postcards depending on what tier that you have gone to. Now, as I said, I will link it below if you're interested in supporting us. We don't actually earn a lot on our YouTube at all, and we didn't really want to set up a Patreon, but we said we'd only set it up if we gave something back to all the people that support us daily. So this is sort of a way to give back to you. You could get one of these cool magnets, maybe not this exact one because I want this for my fridge, but there could be one on your fridge if you sign up to our Patreon. So like I said, I will leave it in the link below so you can check it out and explore, but I'm very happy with my magnet. And that was Plovdiv Old Town. We're so glad that we actually explored it. As you can see, I have a tan from how lovely and warm it has been over Easter here in Bulgaria, but we are actually heading to a new destination. You will see it in the next video, a new town, a new city in Bulgaria. We are super excited for it. We hope that you are too. But Plovdiv has everything. It has the ancient ruins, it has great nightlife, it has great bars, restaurants. It also has some quirky things to see and a really nice pedestrian street. But a huge thank you to Hill House for hosting us. We've had an amazing stay here in the Old Town, and then we will see you in the next one in a new city.